Welcome to the Women Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda the Money Healer, and today's episode is coming from our live webinars where you get to hang out with me and other women entrepreneurs to learn about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies and get your questions answered. To join us, go to thewomenontrepreneurpodcast.com where you'll see the link to register for the webinars at the top of the page. Can't wait to see you there. Today's topic is 3 law of attraction strategies for business owners to increase profits. Now, if you think about this, if you are a business owner who has no profits, then you're a nonprofit who is making no money. So it's either a hobby or it's a daydream. And so I want to get you really clear on understanding the importance of making money in your business. And of course, as a money mindset and manifestation coach, I'm always interested in helping you make money in the easiest ways possible. And profits increase the most when you know how to apply law of attraction principles that are helping you be conscious and deliberate. And the reason I say that is because you are always manifesting no matter what. It doesn't matter if you believe in the law of attraction or don't, you are manifesting in your life. Now, you're either doing this consciously by being energetically aligned in your state of being, or you're doing it unconsciously by having a lot of resistance and a lot of blockages. And so what will happen is you'll send out an emotional frequency to the universe that attracts to you the things that you don't think you want, which are your fears, your doubts, and your worries. And you're going to be confused about why that's happening because you're not understanding the principles of the law of attraction. So today I want us to dive into thinking about the principles and the importance of intention and conscious intention. We're going to talk about what's your energetic state of being, how resistance like worry and fear and stress work against you, and how to audit your vibrational frequency and uplevel it so that you can then increase your profits. So let's talk first about the law of intention. I wanted to read this quote to you by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I really like it. He says, "Keep your thoughts on what you intend to create. Stay consistently matched up with the field of intention, and then watch for clues that what you're summoning from the all-creative source is arriving in your life." Okay? So first thing, it's important here, keep your thoughts on what you intend to create. Now, what's interesting here is that most people are stuck in a state of fear, worry, doubt, stress, often around money, especially as business owners, because the bottom line is always that profitability, right? Even if you're bringing in a lot of revenue, if you're not profitable, the revenue doesn't matter. Because I've worked with lots of people who it's been interesting to see high revenue, but low profitability. And to me, that can look like a lot of money blocks, right? So you might be able to bring in, I've worked with people who bring in $1 million a year, but have very little profits. They're still living paycheck to paycheck even. So they have high costs in their business and they work really hard and they're able to produce revenue, but they're not able to be profitable. So we want profits in our business, right? And when you have this pattern going on, you want to be considering, where am I stuck in my unconscious thinking, believing that I must work hard to make money or that I always just want to get by? Right? I hear people say this all the time, like, I make just enough to get by. So we got to clear that belief system out and really get aligned with conscious profitability, where you get to increase your profits, where you have a flow of abundant money, much more than meeting your needs. And the way to do that is to start to get aligned in your state of being. Now, this is going to be partially through intention, okay? So intention is incredibly important because what happens in your intention is going to be either in or out of alignment with your belief system. So let's say that you go, hey, I'm ready to have a very highly profitable business, whatever amount that is to you. And that's your conscious intention, but your state of being is misaligned and it's feeling scared. It's feeling worried. It's telling yourself, hey, in the past, I haven't made that much money, or in the past, I've failed, or in the past, I put something out there and it wasn't as profitable as I believed. And so you've got all of this unconscious baggage telling you that you're not good enough, telling you that you don't know what you're doing, telling you that you're not sure if it's going to succeed. And so what happens is in your intentions is that you have what I call competing commitments. And in competing commitments, you've got 5% of you that's conscious, that's going like, hey, I want this. And 95% of you that's unconscious, that's going, I'm not sure if I can get it. Now you can see that your intention in that situation is going to be unclear. And anytime you have unclear scattered energy, it leads to unclear scattered results, which is going to create volatility in your profitability. And so when you want a profitability that's ever increasing month after month, year after year, you want to have clear, conscious intention in your state of being. So your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs are going to be aligned. And so when we have an aligned state of being, you're going to know because you're going to feel good about what you're doing in your business. You're going to take strategic daily action, and you're going to have the belief up-leveling that, hey, I feel good today. Things are flowing. I know it's possible to be profitable. And what's going to happen is your outer world is going to match that conscious intention and that aligned state of being in real results. So I know you've all heard me say before, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And so if you don't like what you're getting on the outside, you got to change what's within. So your profitability is a very outer world reality of your inner world beliefs and feelings. So if you are seeing volatility in your outer world, you got to check in with yourself on the inner world and go, where am I volatile in my feelings? Where am I out of alignment in my belief system? What am I being inconsistent about in terms of the way that I think, I feel, I behave, I decide? Where is there scattered energy? Because anywhere that there's scattered energy inside you, you're creating a state of being that's misaligned, which sends out a frequency to the universe, which causes you to get back to you volatility, to show you that that's your inner state. So it's very easy to actually read what your subconscious belief system is, because you will know exactly what it is based on your outer world manifestations, right? So and the actions you take. So if on a daily basis you're feeling procrastination, you're procrastinating because you're feeling worried, that's an outer condition of your inner world confusion. It's an outer manifestation of you not being clear about what it is that you want. These things all create resistance, and resistance is the number one thing that keeps you from manifesting what you want. Anytime you have a state of resistance, you're going to slow down your manifestations. In an ideal world where you are fully conscious and you have a 100% aligned state of being, you'd be able to manifest instantaneously. You would literally be able to have a thought, feel good about it, bring it to you without doing any work. This is what's wild to think about. And I'm sure that everyone's had times in their life where this has happened, where you just know something so deeply in your being, you decide it, and really quickly it shows up. This is easy to see, like when people want to manifest a vacation. Let's say they go, okay, I'm ready to go on a vacation. And let's just say it's a weekend trip that's pretty close. You can come up with that strategy really quickly and create it pretty easily because you have the belief that it's possible. You feel good about the decision you made, and you create it, right? It's not that hard to do. What gets us stuck is when we create a manifestation or a big goal that we all of a sudden have doubts and fears about, we start to create inner resistance. We go, I'm not sure if I can do it. It hasn't been done in the past. You might have unconscious money blocks that were programmed into you from childhood, like, oh, you're so big for your britches. You shouldn't want that. Why do you get to go take vacation when other people are working so hard? We didn't get to travel as a family, so why should you get to? One of the ones that has shown up for me that I've been breaking through lately is, I have a blended family now. And my kids growing up, I have 3 biological kids and I have 1 stepson. And, big age split and totally different lifestyles, right? So my 3 kids growing up, we were impoverished. I was on food stamps. We lived in subsidized housing in a very wealthy community where we were mostly I didn't have any friends in that situation. All my kids' friends were a lot of soccer moms, a lot of families that come from a lot of wealth. The parents were twice my age. And so there was this negative comparison going on, right? And my kids were watching us grow up this way. And so, I'm sitting there going I don't have the same things as you. They were feeling that way. And so it creates this resistance and this fear. And so now I get to deprogram that in my kids because I created a fear in them that that we can't afford it, that they're not enough, that there will never be enough. Right. And so as we're reprogramming ourselves, we got to move through those money blocks that got created when we were kids and that we might have programmed in the people around us, for me, my kids. So I have this money block I'm working through where it's like, I'm like, oh, my kids, and I could look at it in this victim mindset and go like, my poor kids, quote unquote, didn't get what they needed. So now I feel guilty about giving my stepson the things that he wants because now I have the money for it, right? And then he's got his own parents, Abe included in this, and his mom, where they created a whole reality for my stepson that's very different than my kids created. So when I'm comparing those two realities, I have this subconscious guilt of like, oh no, if I treat my stepson this way, my kids feel bad. So it's like this fear of outshining and this fear and guilt that gets created. So if I don't clear that, I limit myself from being financially abundant because of the guilt that I feel about my kids. So there's just one simple example. And this stuff comes up all the time, right? That's just one example that operates. And I want to remind you of those stories because I do this work every single day. I'm constantly playing with my money beliefs and breaking into my unconscious belief system so that I can break through the next level. Because if I don't, those are the things that get trapped in your state of being that cause you to have volatile profits because your state of being is out of alignment. And so you want to be digging in and asking yourself, anytime you feel resistance in your inner being, play with it. You want to be thinking, what's the fear? What's the worry? What's the doubt? What's the possible past belief that caused me to think and feel and be this way? Not to ever to beat yourself up, only to get conscious and raise your conscious awareness so that you can start to decide, hey, do I choose to continue believing this, or do I choose to reframe it and remove it from my system through doing reframe strategies like tapping, mantras, meditation, journaling? I mean, there are different reframe strategies that I like to teach here. So you want, anytime you feel that resistance, you want to be thinking, okay, let's remove this from my system so that I can start to reprogram my money mindset and move in different ways. So I want you to be taking away this thought. Anytime I have resistance, I'm slowing down my manifestations. Anytime I feel worry, I'm slowing down my manifestations. Anytime I feel doubt, I'm creating scattered energy in the universe. Anytime I'm not sure if I can do it, I'm going to be causing blocks. And so you want to play with this next step of doing an audit on your vibrational frequency. And the way you do an audit on your vibrational frequency to see if you're aligned is very simple. And people overcomplicate this, and it's actually very easy. All you need to ask yourself is, do I feel joy? Do I feel inspired? Do I feel good? If you don't, you're causing resistance somewhere within, right? If you are waking up in the morning and you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling tired, you're feeling any energetic stuckness, then you are causing resistance. Because remember, when you're in your highest vibrational frequency, you're going to feel flow. You're going to feel relaxation. You're going to feel joy. You're going to feel, I like to think of that kind of emanation of light. If you could look at an aura of yourself, let's say, either you've got like this dark cloud over you, which I like to think as a shit storm crap magnet. So when you feel this black energy around you, you are attracting negativity to you. And this, again, of course, isn't to beat you up. It's just like, get clear about where you're at so that you can decide how to move forward. Instead, if you have this like light halo around you, then you're attracting awesome things your way. And it's so easy to detect with that audit. You just go, hey, do I feel energized and joyful, or do I feel drained and low energy? Right? And you want to be doing more of the things in your daily life that are bringing you joy and energy. And you want to be doing less of the things in your daily life that are causing resistance and a lack of flow. And so that simplest vibrational frequency audit is just ask yourself, how do I feel? Always remembering that your feelings are what attracts to you through your vibrational frequency. So manifestation is a logical process of consciousness around what you choose to bring into your life. You could easily call manifestation goal setting. You're manifesting in a tangible way. What's attracting things to you is your emotional state of being, because your emotions are your magnet. And that's why it's really easy to do an audit and go, how am I feeling? If you feel off, then you're causing blocks and resistance to manifesting more easily. And so especially with money, start asking yourself questions about how you feel with money. So I want to give you 3 LOA strategies, law of attraction strategies, to increase your profits. And I always like to give really simple things to just play with and start with. Of course, keep coming back because you're going to keep learning strategies. And this is a repetitive process because anytime you're reprogramming your money mindset, you've got to repeat to reprogram. The two things that change your subconscious belief system is hypnosis and repetition. And we can think about repetition as recreating neural pathways in your brain. You can think about it as recreating the conditioning and programming in your emotional state of being. And that's what's going to cause you to start attracting different things through your subconscious system. So the 3 strategies to start to increase your profits here. Number 1, first, you've got to recognize your unconscious vows. And I want you to think about your unconscious vows as things that you've agreed to without even knowing it, based on your belief system programming. And the way you're going to do this right now, you don't even need to dig into your childhood, which is really where these got planted, and you increased the attraction to it because you weren't aware of it. And so we always find in our outer world what we believe to be true. So let's say you got a belief planted when you were a little kid, and then you believed it to be true. So you kept attracting it, which then confirmed that it was true, which keeps you attracting it. So that's what's going on in the process. Now, in order for you to start tapping into those unconscious vows, all you've got to do is write a complaint list. Okay. So to recognize your unconscious vows, today, after we're done here, write a complaint list. And what I mean by this is just write down everything you're pissed at, you're tired of, you feel angry about, and this could be specific to money. And the interesting thing here is that a lot of law of attraction people, or just personal growth and development style coaches, will tell you, you got to focus on the positive. The funny thing is that you're avoiding the negative and you're pushing it away, and what you avoid persists and grows in size. So if you're pretending that you're not pissed and you're not afraid and you have nothing to complain about, you're full of crap because we all have these things come up in our life. And the cool thing about your complaints is that it's the easiest way to detect where you have unconscious vows, because whatever you're upset about right now in your life is something you haven't cleared out, the negativity or the blocks, and it's creating resistance, which is why you have a complaint about it. If you have something that's already fulfilled, you don't need to complain about it, right? Like before I met Abe and had like the love of my life and this amazing relationship where we get to play and be best friends and do our life together, I had a lot of relationship complaints and I had a lot of struggles in relationships. And as I started to train myself in a new direction and transform from the inside out, now I couldn't sit down and write a complaint list about relationships because I don't have anything to complain about, because I've manifested having an incredible relationship by changing myself from the inside out and reprogramming. And it started with this process that I'm teaching you right now. Start to get aware about what you're upset about instead of pushing it away and pretending it's not there. And so just write a complaint list. This will start to teach you what you're unconsciously committed to, because everything you're getting in your life is a conscious or unconscious commitment. And so to get to the unconscious ones, it's really easy to see what you're pissed about, what you're complaining about, what you feel struggles about, what you feel fears about. And so write out a complaint list. Number 2, you want to start clearing your money blocks. Now, the way that you do this, there are several strategies to do this. You could start the complaint list. That's going to start to actually help you raise it to your conscious awareness. I love to use EFT tapping, focusing on the complaints I just wrote. Okay. So let's say in your EFT tapping, you're actually like, and I don't even want anyone here to overthink it. If you've never heard of EFT tapping, or if you have, start with this simple karate chop point. So it's a point on your hand. You can take 2 to 3 fingers. You just tap and just say, like literally say your complaints out loud. Now, a lot of people get freaked out because they think like, oh, I'm programming them into myself when I say them out loud. And the opposite is true. What you're actually doing is releasing them by bringing them to your conscious awareness. And you're letting go of the resistance to thinking that it's there. So it's like all of a sudden you go, instead of saying what usually happens, people go, I'm afraid, and I want to pretend I'm not afraid. And so they ignore it and avoid it, and it causes it to grow. Instead, with tapping, what you're doing is bringing it to your conscious awareness. So it could be an example like, let's say on your complaint list, you said, I'm tired of not having enough money, tired of my profitability being low. I'm so irritated by not charging what I'm worth. And you literally just say these while you're tapping on your karate chop point. You go like, I'm tired of not having enough money. I'm irritated with the amount of money I have in the bank. I just wish people would pay me what I'm worth. Why don't I get paid what I'm worth? And you're saying this while you're tapping. And what happens is that it changes your emotional state and it decreases the resistance. And again, I'll repeat, anytime you decrease the resistance, you speed up manifestation. And so anything you can do to decrease resistance is going to help you remove unconscious money blocks. And so that's your first 2 steps. And that's just one strategy to clear money blocks. It's a really easy one. So we'll start there. And then number 3, you're going to uplevel your vibrational frequency. Okay. How are you upleveling your vibrational frequency? First, remember what I said, you're going to start asking questions about how you're feeling. And you're always going to know that your feeling is your vibrational frequency. So if you're feeling joy, you're pretty high vibe. If you're feeling irritable and frustrated and stuck and worried, you're feeling low vibe, right? And so you want to remember that when you're feeling low vibe, you're going to get low vibrational results. When you're feeling high vibe, you're going to get high vibrational results. And so a really fun one here, and this is very simple, is that you just want to ask yourself, what does wealth feel like? Okay. Not does wealth look like, not what am I going to do with all the money? You want to be asking yourself, what does wealth feel like? Okay. And again, this is because you want to tap into the feelings in order to attract through your vibrational frequency. That's the law of attraction. And so this is a really fun practice, is to go like, what does wealth feel like? And start stepping into that vibrational frequency and focus on that after you clear the complaints out in steps number 1 and 2. So I'm just going to repeat just so everyone has real clarity on the steps. So 3 law of attraction strategies to increase your profits. Number 1, recognize your unconscious vows by writing down a complaint list. Number 2, clear your money blocks using EFT tapping, focusing on those complaints. And then number 3, start to uplevel your vibrational frequency by asking, what does wealth feel like? And focus on this. And when I say focus on this, it means meditate on it for a few minutes. Sit and have I like to do a visualization based, even just for a couple minutes, and just see myself in that state of wealth, feeling what I'll feel in that state of wealth that I'm striving for, and just sit with that to uplevel your vibe. The really cool thing about law of attraction and upleveling your money vibe is that you don't need to do it for long. And most people can't stay in that state for long, especially when you've programmed yourself in a lower state. You got to do it in steps. And so if you can uplevel your money vibe only for even a few minutes at a time, you will start to shift over time. Because remember, I said it's repeating to reprogram your subconscious. So when you do this a couple times throughout the day, you'll start to notice the next day you feel a little bit of levity. And then you do it again the next day for a couple minutes a day, you start to feel more levity. And what happens over time is that you reprogram. So for me, when I was going from food stamps to building my 6-figure business fast, when I say fast, I was doing this stuff all day, every day. I was like, okay, I am ready to reprogram myself. I am ready for a different reality. And so I just started saturating my brain with everything I could about investment, saving, growing a business, upleveling my confidence, money, manifestation. I mean, I was learning, and I was constantly reprogramming. What that did was upleveled my vibe on a daily basis, which then the outer world started to match. It started to bring me opportunities, started to open doors that I couldn't plan for myself through the manifestation process.
Thank you for listening to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to learn actionable strategies that magnetize money as a woman entrepreneur, go to thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com to register for an upcoming webinar. These are interactive webinars where you'll get to hang out with me and podcast fans live for powerful lessons about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies. Plus, there's live Q&A to get all of your questions answered. Again, go to thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com and click on the button to register for a live webinar now.